Hello and welcome to the gallery. Today we are looking at Zenithal priming. Now, in many videos I've done here before, I have used a Zenithal undercoat, so let's take a better look at what I actually mean while I'm doing that. Well, let's start out with something basic and simple. It's just a regular Zenithal undercoat, and then a little bit focused of a Zenithal undercoat. And we're starting out simple. We're starting with just black undertone, and then just spraying from a 45-degree angle on top of the model, so we get this basic Zenithal highlighting. This is the gist of what Zenithal highlighting is. It's getting that zenith angle on top of it, and that's the simplest way to do it. Of course, you can always do it a little bit differently. Like in this case, I'm spraying more on a focused area. I'm going for where the lighter points are, so it's around the face, the shoulder, the upper part of the model. I'm not doing anything really to the legs. A little bit of overspray going there, just so if I'm painting it with contrast or something like that, which is most likely when you're speed painting, or well, in my case at least, a little bit of color will show there, and this is the finished result. And you can see there's a slight variance between the 45-degree angle and the focused Zenithal highlight. Now that we've done the basic stuff, let's add a little bit of extra flavor to it. So we're going to put a little bit of color and then a little bit of extra Zenithal on top of that. And now we are doing something a little bit different than what we did before. We're starting with this different types of colors underneath the actual highlighting. So we're getting this different tone underneath the model, and this will correspond greatly into if you're using contrast paints or speed paints or glazes or something like that. This will greatly show up on the model before you start, when you are painting it. So on the skeleton guys I used a bone-ish color, and on the more undeady pink-ish guys I'm using a pink color. And this is not really Zenithal highlighting that we're doing underneath these guys at this stage. We're more like doing a very thin base coat and leaving a little bit of the undertone, the black undertone, both in the recesses and underneath where the shadows will lie. And once we've gotten this undertone going, then I'm going in with the white. It's not as a stark difference as we're doing just white on black. This is more of a gradual thing, and it has a finer end result in my opinion. So we can focus it on just the face and the shoulders, or we can do a 45-degree angle on a squad. Now for the squads, of course, you don't want to spend too much time, but you can do this fairly quickly even if you are focusing on every single miniature, because it's only a handful. But of course, if you're using rattle cans, it's much easier to do it just on a stick with 10 models and just spray over top. And like for these bigger models, I'm more focusing on the top section, so we get this more interesting gradual look going for them, which I really dig, and the undertone really helps sell the depth of the model. All of this is pretty simple and pretty straightforward. You could do it with an airbrush, you could do it with spray cans, whatever you want. But now we're going to do one step further where we're adding a little bit of colored shadows or highlights from underneath, or you can do it from the side or whatever you feel like, before we do the end stage Zenithal. Continuing on from where we left off, where we had this undertone, we're doing that again now. We're starting out with an undertone of this model, which is in a grayish pinkish hue. It's similar to what we did with the Varga thingy and the bat swarm. We're starting out by getting this undercoat going, and we're just painting that over the entire model, leaving a little bit of the shadows again like we did before. But then we're gonna mix it up a little bit. I have this bright red in my airbrush now, and you can do this with the spray can. Just tilt the model, and I'm spraying from underneath. I'm getting this different sort of shadow, this different sort of hue here and there, and I think this can actually make some really interesting looks when you're using fairly opaque, fairly translucent paints on it. And once you've done all that,
Again, you go over top with the Zenithal, highlighting the basic one, just focused around the face, around the shoulders, a little bit underneath as well. And then you get this gradual tone from the red to the fleshy pink and up to the white. And this will really look interesting once we start painting the model.